I'm here with actor Michael Drayer, who, if you've turned on a television in the past 14 years, you've seen his face somewhere. He's done so many television roles, it's hard to even begin somewhere. But why don't you begin at the beginning and talk a little bit about when you first decided that you wanted to be an actor? I know you grew up in Staten Island.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I never really growing up. That wasn't my thing. I was into sports. I was supposed to be I was supposed to be the center fielder of the New York Yankees. That was what was supposed to happen, but that didn't work out. My sister went to LaGuardia High School for performing arts, the Fame School, and I always just knew I could act. It wasn't something that I focused on, but I knew it was easy. Like I was like, the concept was just simple to me. Like I just knew I could do it, even though I never did it. So I just auditioned for the fun of it, to see if I could make it, just out of curiosity. I was still going to go to my zoned high school in Staten Island, Tottenville, and play baseball and play football, like everything. And I was just curious, so I did it, and I got in. And then my whole life kind of just went from there.
Yeah.
My mom kind of did the whole guilt thing of you should go. It's better school. It's a better experience, and that just spiraled into it until that dream went away, and this kind of path just kind of took it on. And then I graduated from high school, and and I figured I realized I was good at it, and I enjoyed it. And that's kind of how it happened. And then I graduated, and I got an agent right away, and I just kind of was like, well, let me see what happens, and then that's where I am now.
And if I'm not mistaken, your first professional television credit was Third Watch, right?
It was actually Johnny Zero. That was, I think, my second. My first one was this show called Johnny Zero. I think it got canceled in the middle of filming the second episode.
Oh, God.
It was like a terrible show on Fox, but I had one line.
Yeah.
It was my first audition. I actually landed my first 3 auditions ever.
That's awesome.
They were freelancing. I was young,
Yeah.
and that was the first one. The second audition was Third Watch. The third audition was SVU, Law and Order,
which is the New York actors. Break your teeth. Everybody's a New York actor.
You're not a New York actor unless you've
you're
done
on Law and Order.
at least 1 or
That's
3.
Right. And a
I think
horror
I did
film.
4.
Possibly a horror film. It's
I don't
also
think I've ever
breaking your
done
teeth.
a horror
Not done a horror.
No, I don't think I have.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, you're not a real actor then.
I guess
you do
not.
that.
No, well, good seeing you guys.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Waste of an interview.
Come back when you film one.
Yeah.
So, you then went on to star on pretty much every television show that tapes here in New York. I mean, did you stayed local here to New York, or did you go out to California in the meantime, or?
No. I stayed. I was all about New York. Yeah. I had no interest in Los Angeles for 10 years. It wasn't. I didn't like it. I wasn't very business oriented. I was more just about acting and getting good at acting. And
right.
So the whole move to LA and work that scene was nothing that was even in my scope. It was very, like I said, like I explained, the business wasn't something that I ever anticipated. So I didn't have a lot of knowledge on it, and I was like, nah, you could just do the same thing here in New York and stay with my family and the college, and just went with it. So I was here until recently, like I told you before, and I took the plunge to go out there, really just for a change of scenery. It doesn't matter if you're in New York or LA.
Right.
Really, these days, you tape every audition. I just made 3 tapes today.
You also were in The Sopranos.
Yeah.
You were.
That was awesome.
Yeah. What was that like filming that?
Sopranos was awesome. So I was I think I was 19, turning 20. So just a year and a half in, and it was my first job that. Well, it was my first recurring role that I didn't just go in for an episode, do a scene, and leave. So that was really awesome. I never watched the show. I never got into it. I wasn't a fan of the show, which was blasphemy on set when everyone found that out. The record stopped and everyone looked at me, and I was like, "What?"
Who the hell is
they
this
were
guy?
they were really offended by it. I remember Rob, AJ, he made a huge thing when he found out. He screamed it to everyone, he never watched the show. See, I never watched it, but I knew who they were, obviously, and it was just really great being a part of it. I actually met one of my best friends. He's like my brother, Joe Perino, who played the other Jason.
Okay.
I was Jason Parisi. He was Jason. God, I forgot what Jason he was. Whatever his last name of his character. But we were the 2 Jasons that hung out with AJ on the show, and we bonded from there on. And he's still. I'm gonna see him later. He's like my brother, and so anyway. So yeah, I had a great time. I was young, but it was exciting. So when I first got introduced to crafty food,
Oh, okay.
You know, I was like, all this food is free.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I gained like 20 pounds. Not even joking. I think I started that first episode. I was like 145,
Hmm.
and like 4 months later, I was like 165.
The freshman 15
The
or the freshman 15.
Yeah, I was also at like an age where my body was like changing. You know,
Yeah,
like 20,
yeah.
where I can't just eat anything at any time anymore and stay thin. So it's
That's
actually
funny.
funny because if you see the first episode, we went back for a reshoot like 4 months later,
Mhm.
and we had to reshoot a moment in one scene, and you could see if you look for it that I'm in the scene. We're all taking like a shot, and I weigh 145 pounds, and then I walk off camera into another room, and that's what we reshot. And when I walk off, you cut to, and I'm like 165, and I'm on the phone. And then I walk off. I'm like, guess who that was? It was Don Amato. And I walk back off into frame, and I'm 145 again. And if you look, you can see it.
That
And
was
it's
a hell of a caloric shot you
yeah,
took.
yeah. And it's so funny because audience members, they don't catch as much as you think. So.
Right.
Anyway.
Now we all know.
Now you all know. Go and see it, and you'll have a good laugh. Yeah, Sopranos, great one. Still
What
get recognized for it.
What's one of your projects that really stands out for you, and what's the reason? Whether it be a co-star that you were filming with that taught you something, or
Yeah, well, you know, it's a tough one because there's all different reasons. Everyone really, so everyone, like my most notorious one everyone really likes is like this episode of Louie I did. I played a bully. To this day, I still don't know why. I know because it was a popular show, and Louie just wrote a hell of a scene that really just touched a lot of guys. Like, you know, it really just dug deep. And I don't know, but everyone really seemed to take a big liking to that. I thought my acting was fine. There was like whatever I do. So but that performance was really, so people like that one. So that in terms of like notoriety, people like that. Sneaky Pete, one of my recent ones, just because you know I got to act with you know Bryan Cranston here and Giovanni Ribisi there, and you know it was just a really fun role, and just you know it was very familial. Like everyone was very like just it was a big family, and it was really good. And then Mr. Robot, obviously, just seeing something come from a pilot that no one heard of, and just before my eyes, just seeing it take off to like I've never been in that position. I've joined popular shows like Sopranos, but I've never been in the ground up where I got to see like day by day people start talking about it, and you see it blossom until you see all your friends standing on the stage accepting Emmys.
Right.
You know, and you're just like, wow, that's awesome. So that for those reasons, you know, I like that.
2016 was a good year for you too. You did a lot in 2016.
2016 was a great year.
Yeah.
You got a time machine? Can we go back?
I do. Yeah.
2016 was great. Yeah. That was so yeah, 2016 was great. That's when I was doing Sneaky Pete and Mr. Robot like simultaneously. Shades of Blue, right? I think I did Vinyl as well that year.
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Vinyl was a good one too. Vinyl was fun.
Yeah, you had a lot going on that year.
Yeah.
And your most recent appearance, you were just on Bull, right? A couple weeks ago?
Yeah, Bull and Manifest as well. They were simultaneously.
Yeah, they aired on the same night.
Yeah,
You did 2 episodes of Manifest?
I did 2 episodes of Manifest.
Will you be coming back, or you don't know?
I don't know. I couldn't foresee me coming back, like storyline wise. Like I don't think there's another need for my character anymore. You know, characters are just there to drive the plot.
Right.
You know, once you realize
Kind of like Lost.
Yeah. I mean, that's what any writing characters are there for.
Yeah.
So if the character doesn't serve the plot anymore, it's like there's nothing to go back to. So yeah, but Bull and then that, that was good.
Yeah, and you were heavily featured on Bull. I mean, you were in the promo. That was a great part.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it. I also don't watch anything that I do.
Is there a reason behind that, or are you just not comfortable watching it?
It's twofold. One, I'm my worst critic. It doesn't matter. If I ever win an Oscar, I will be on stage saying this. Really? Seriously? Did you see it though? Like I can't. I really don't. It's rare. It's rare for me to see something I do and like it, and because I always feel I could do better, and I just think it's not finished. And if I do like it, my reaction won't be anything more than, yeah, okay. Like that's it, you know. So that's one reason, and the other reason. So I mean, it's basically the same reason. So either I'm going to not like what I see, or if people like it, I'd rather not know. So then I could just be like, yeah, I'm going to take that face value and not ruin it by watching it and going, really, that's terrible. So it's really, and also it's just, I don't know, there's a lot, and I just don't really want to watch.
Well, you must be doing something right. You've worked consistently for 14 years, so.
Yeah. You know, Mike, I think I know how to act.
You just don't know how to watch yourself.
I just don't like you know, watching myself. Not all the time, sometimes. But yeah, you know, acting is something that, God bless it. If it wasn't for that, I don't know what I'd be doing right now.
What?
Wouldn't be playing for the Yankees, that's for sure.
Yeah. Would you? What do you do in your downtime?
Downtime, well, I'm always acting, you know, somewhat, whether I'm just taking a class or, you know, on my own time, getting a friend together, just like read a scene or something.
Do you find that's important even after you've been in the business so long?
Yeah, you have to.
You always got to improve, or can improve rather.
It's a gym, you know, that's all it is.
Yep.
You know, you can get talent or ability only goes so far. You know, every athlete is practicing on the off season.
Right.
So you have to exercise it. Doesn't mean you're going to learn anything more, but you're going to keep strong. So I do that. You know, I read a lot. I'm running from a marathon, like I told you, on Sunday. So this last like 3 months, I've just been heavily into running.
Back to your 145, right?
Probably like 120 now.
Yeah. You just need to book another gig on The Sopranos. You can put it back on.
Put it right back.
When they do the reunion.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, just hang with friends. I'm basic, man. I'm not really anything exciting. I don't have an exciting life. You know. I read a lot. You know, I write. You know, I do all those cliche things that no one really has any interest in. Hang out with friends.
Yeah. The stuff that you write, is it something you'd like to perform, or is it something you do for catharsis? Or?
Yeah, you know, I do it I like to do, I'm trying to get better at my writing, so it's just practice. Right now, I've not really performed much of anything. But, you know, I'll do, you know, I have a good buddy of mine out in Los Angeles, and we've always, you know, since we were kids, I met him in high school. We went to high school together, Cameron Van Hoy, a great filmmaker, producer. We actually made like 3 feature films together before we were like 23, right? So we do things together, and like I'll write stuff for us, and they'll never really be anything too crazy or big, but like things like that, or projects maybe in the future I'd like to, you know, and just write and see where it goes.
Well, this must be an exciting time to be an actor too, because you have more than just the broadcast networks. You have Netflix, you have all the cable shows. You can put your own stuff out on your own website.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah,
it's the golden age of television.
It really is, and not even television so much. So it's the internet now. It's everything.
It's streaming service. It's a lot. It's a double-edged sword, because for like an actor, you think, oh, it's great. There's so much work, but then it just like it dilutes it as well.
Right.
You know, like when you don't know, like some of these A-list actors that are on like TV shows, and it's like the 5th season, and people are going, I'm sorry, what? Like that person has a TV show? I didn't even know that. It's that, you know, there's just too much out there almost. But it's good, because then there's a lot of work, but at the same time, it's just, it gets diluted a bit, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it is. It's an exciting time. I think like Always Sunny was the first ones to do that, right?
Yeah.
They were the first ones, I feel like, to just have their own pilot and then ship it to someone and say, hey, buy this. That wasn't like in-house from the network.
Right.
I might be wrong about that. I think they like kick-started.
Yeah, I think you're right,
whole
actually.
evolution of things. So
Cool.
It's very exciting.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time out to do this. Can't wait to see what you do next.
Thanks.
I don't know what you have left to star on, because you've been pretty much on everything.
I hope something.
Yeah, something has to be
pay bills,
developed.
man.
That's right.
Or get better at, you know, throwing a baseball.
The Yankees are always hiring.
They're always hiring.
And so are the Mets too, probably.
Yeah, well.
I don't know that you want to play for them, though.
Nah, more Yankees.
All right, well, yeah, there you go.
I'll take what I can get them.
That's right. Beggars can't be choosers.
Gotta eat.
Thanks so much, my
Of
Bill.
course.
It was a pleasure.